Welcome to another edition of the Scouts Report, presented to you by the New York Professional Scouts Association. I'm Joey Jarzynka. Episode number 4 brings us here to beautiful Valley Central High School, located in the Hudson Valley. More specifically, Montgomery, New York. Also known as the childhood grade schools of not one, but two of the marquee signings from our president and current St. Louis Cardinals pro scout, Joe Rigoli. Beginning his playing days as a catcher for the Knights of Fairleigh Dickinson University, Rigoli would go on to play a predominant part in the Knights' success during the 1970s. To this day, he is considered one of the best catchers and players to ever don the burgundy and blue. Joe would finish his career in Teaneck with a career batting average of .299, notching 27 extra base hits, and tallying 41 RBIs. He would register a batting average of .333 in his junior season and .303 in his senior season. As a senior, Rigoli would be named an academic All-American. We can thank our good friend of the New York Mets, Jay Horowitz, for that stat. Post-college would set up Rigoli for a dream job by playing baseball, and so he did just that. He would end up playing professional ball in the Oakland Athletics organization. After appearing in only 2 games for the Bend Timberhawks of the Class A Northwestern League, he would go on to play in 29 games the following season for the 1979 Newark Co-Pilots, an unaffiliated ball club in the New York Penn League, collecting only 14 hits in 61 at-bats and recording a .231 batting average in a utility role. Things would turn around in a positive way for Rigoli, but in a different role. In 1981, he would join the organization that he currently works for now, the St. Louis Cardinals, and become their single-A affiliates manager. In 1984, Joe would become the manager of the Cardinals' Midwest League affiliate, the Springfield Cardinals. And oddly enough, at the age of 27, he would also perform pitching duties for 4 games as well. In those 4 contests, Joe would compile a 6.43 ERA. Later in the 1980s, all the way to the mid-1990s, Rigoli would find himself scouting for the Cardinals until he became the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen coach in 1996. Boy, that's a lot of movement if you're asking me. But in case you lost me, player, manager, scout, coach, scout, in that exact order. There you go, report complete. No, not really. There's too many good stories to tell about our current president. His post-coaching career would allow Rigoli to head back to St. Louis as a professional scout. But just before that happened, and rewinding to a time before his stint in Philadelphia, he would sign right-handed pitcher Matt Morris. Born a few miles west in Middletown, New York, just a few miles west that way, Morris and his family would move to nearby Montgomery, New York at the age of 13 and attend Valley Central High School. We're standing right here. Following a strong performance trying out at the Empire State Games, he was converted from an infielder to a pitcher. For those that have no idea what I'm talking about when I say the Empire State Games, it was a set of Olympic-style competitions for amateurs from the state of New York. The competition's final year was 2014, but featured some top talent from across the state. Matt was one of them, where he was drafted in the 25th round of the 1992 MLB draft by the Milwaukee Brewers. He would turn down the Brew Crew and say, "No, I'm heading over to Seton Hall University and play for the legendary Mike Shepard." So that's exactly what he would do. He made his way to South Orange, and following his time in college, Morris would be drafted 25th overall in the 1995 MLB draft by the St. Louis Cardinals. During the 2001 season, Morris would lead the National League in wins with 22 and 185 punchouts and a 3.16 ERA. He was the undoubted ace and, of course, recognized in the Cy Young voting, but fell just short for 3rd place. Let's take a look at some of the highlights that would put Morris on the Major League map.
It's young Matt Morris, a 20-game winner a year ago for the Redbirds, 17-9 this year with a nice ERA and without question the ace of this staff. Fouled the ball off his shin in the last week of the season. Skies this one to left. Pujols coming in. And Arizona did everything but take the lead. And he pulled that back as well. So the improved batsmanship not apparent that time. Bill Miller, the ump, thumbing him out.
Well, Matt Morris just saying, I'm not going to let you get the job done. Watch what he sees. All 3 of these pitches are breaking ball. This last one with a lot of movement down and out of the strike zone. Matheny all over it, keeping it in front of him and keeping the first the runner at first base, Chad Moeller, right there.
Moeller with the lead. Womack swinging at 2-0 to Edmonds. He'll glove it. Will there be room? Roland. Plenty of room, and Roland makes the play. Chad Moeller. And Morris gets the strikeout. So this is Chad Moeller with a fly ball to right field. Easy play for Eli Marrero.
Everybody on the infield wanted that.
Vigna's got it. Finley gone.
Following his 2001 and 2002 stellar seasons, Morris's career would eventually enter the land of uncertainty. In 2004, Morris would sign a one-year contract to remain with the St. Louis Cardinals. He would have surgery the following offseason and entered the 2005 campaign lights out. Morris would start the season 8-0 and register a 3.16 ERA. At the time of the All-Star break, Morris would register 2 more wins, but earn his first 2 losses in the win-loss column and have an astounding 3.10 ERA. You'd figure right away an All-Star starter in Comerica Park, don't you think? Nope. He wasn't even tabbed as an All-Star, period. The second half of the season for Morris was an emotional roller coaster for him as he cooled down and recorded a 4-7 win-loss record and tallied a 5.55 ERA. Let's take a peek to a game where Morris pitched for the Pittsburgh Pirates against the Colorado Rockies in 2007.
Slow curveball is something he uses very effectively. He's not been very good in his last 11 starts. 0-5 with an earned run average in the mid-7s.
He has not won a ball game, George, since June the 11th when he threw a complete game victory over Toronto, but he gets a strikeout of Matsui to begin things. Let's take a look at the Rockies line.
12th inning. It's the 12th inning, and let's watch it.
That's strike 3 on Brad Hoff. So Brad goes down on that curveball. And there are 2 outs, and Spilborghs will come up.
High heat.
High heat. And the Rockies waste a great opportunity. 1 out, Garrett Atkins at third. And they don't get the ball in.
So he'd line something into one of these gaps, run for a while, get to top of the order to work for you. And it popped up. Get the seats. Nope. You're watching spring training, folks, which really kind of neat, because it's tough to sit there and hit fungos like that.
Morris's career would conclude in 2008 following a stint with the San Francisco Giants and Pittsburgh Pirates post-Cardinals career. In 2003, Rigoli would sign catcher Jason Mott as the Cardinals would select him in the 19th round of that year's MLB draft. Wait just 1 second, folks. Before we move any further, there is some significance to Mott and Valley Central High School as well. He graduated here in the year 2000. It's really cool to do our report in upstate New York where a pair of Joe signees played on this exact surface right over there. I don't know if you could see it, but that's home plate. Jason would be on the boys' varsity team as a catcher and graduate in 2000. In 2003 with the Peoria Chiefs in 48 games at catcher, he committed 4 errors with 5 passed balls. Early in his minor league career, Mott would struggle as a hitter. He batted .222 in 2003, .175 in 2004, and .176 in 2005. On June 29, 2005, Mott would go on the injured list for a thumb fracture while playing for the High A Palm Beach Cardinals. Entering the 2006 season, Mott had compiled a .188 career batting average. His arm strength and accuracy were difficult to ignore. Mott threw out 53 of 109 would-be base stealers for a 49% rate. It's not that good. He also recorded 160 assists in his first 181 games. Spurred by the thumb injury and a declining batting average, Mott would convert to pitching. How did it all work out for him? Well, we'll let you hear it directly from Jason's mouth himself, courtesy of the St. Louis Cardinals production staff. Let's take a look.
I was a catcher down in the Florida State League, and I remember them bringing me in the office, and everybody, all the coaches, everyone was in there. I was like, this isn't very good. They're like, hey, we're gonna, we kind of talked about it a little bit, and we're gonna turn you into a pitcher. They decided to give me a chance to, hey, let's try pitching. Let's see if we can make this work. Be able to do what I did from that point on was such a blessing. Whether it was making it to the big leagues, a dream that I'd always had, to, I never dreamt that I would be closing out a World Series. I just remember hearing the crowd going crazy, and I was like, they're throwing the ball around the infield, and I remember just thinking, I was like, man, these people are really excited. They're really getting into it. This is pretty cool.
And they're 1 out away, and now 2 strikes away.
seeing Alan Craig catch it, me just turning. And the one image for me that always sticks out is, like I said, Yachty at that time was on his knees with his hands like this, and he kind of like looked up and like we kind of like locked eyes, and he like just like his face of pure joy like kind of running out towards me is something that image for me that I'm like, that's it, you know, like just that smile coming out, running out at me, and then arms out, went to catch him, and then didn't realize the whole team was about right here, and kind of got a little blindsided, I guess. Like I said, it was definitely a moment that I'll never forget.
We think it's safe to say that Jason Motte and pitching in the same sentence worked out in his favor. He does have some jewelry to prove it right here, if you couldn't tell. Motte's currently unofficially retired as of October 1st, 2017, and has compiled a 27-15 win-loss record. He earned 60 saves and registered 375 career strikeouts in 9 years of Major League service. Finally, we leave you with this. The two stories we told here today on the campus of Valley Central High School were recognized by the Professional Baseball Scouts Hall of Fame. Why do we say this? Because Joe Rigoli was enshrined as one of its members, with a plaque and honoring his hard work as a pro scout. The plaque in the Hall of Fame is located about 14 miles of where I pointed that way, east of us in Fishkill. Don't forget, folks, that is your Scouts Report for this week, presented to you by the New York Professional Scouts Association. Stay tuned for next week's Highlighted Scout and where we will be traveling to next week right here on the Pro Scouts social media channels. For all of us here at the Eastern Observer and the Blackjack Media Group and the Professional Scouts Association, and for my producer Gina Cuiza, I'm Joey Jarzynka. We'll see you next time.